Hello out there, and welcome into Packs for Breakfast. Episode 2, we got 1990 Donruss this week. Randy, how are you today?
I am doing very well. How are you, sir?
Doing great. As you can see, we've got the good old orange packs of 1990 Donruss here. We've got the PFB mug for the week, and we have this very unassuming donut sitting here, but little backstory on this donut. It was actually a donut, apple cider donut from a local orchard that we went and picked apples at this week. So, kind of a cool donut.
It's very apropos.
Yeah, they were good too. So, I mean, you never know what you're going to get with a donut from an orchard because I've never had one
That,
before, but hey, it turned out okay.
that is true. You have no idea. It's like you're going to an orchard. Maybe they might have great apple cider, but you just don't know if the donut will be great.
But I think you never really know how a donut's going to be until I mean, I've had donuts from Dunkin' Donuts that are terrible. So, I mean, what do we say about that?
I'm just going to say it. In my lifetime, I don't think I've ever had a bad donut. It's like I am not a harsh critic of donuts. I don't think I've ever had a bad donut.
Oh, I've had a few
I could
bad donuts in my day.
I could reach into a box and it's like, oh, that's the last donut. I'll take it.
So we've got September call-ups going on, which is
We do.
that's always kind of fun. You get to see some of the players that you didn't see all the whole year.
A lot of them will have cards in these packs, I'm guessing.
Very true. You'll
It's like, oh,
see a lot of guys who they had a very short 1990 season. But hey, once again, they got a baseball card, which is more than we can say, right?
that's right. And they made it to the MLB. I mean, that they were professional baseball players playing on an MLB roster, got at bats, got appearances on the mound. I mean, it's like we don't realize it. I mean, this is like a story that's kind of related to this. It's like we used to have a guy that worked where we work or I work, and his name was Cyron Brown. And the thing is, nice guy. I mean, he was a pretty big guy, but I didn't even realize it until he told us. He actually played on those Denver Broncos Super Bowl team that went in '98 against the Falcons. It's like he was on that team. He has the Super Bowl ring. Now he didn't have a long career, but the thing is, it's like when I found that out, he actually showed us the ring. It's the coolest thing in the world. Even though he doesn't have a lot of stats, he still played NFL football.
Huh.
Which is the way I think about these guys that played MLB baseball. You might not have been great, but you played.
Super cool.
So it's like I have a lot of respect for any of them. I mean, we might bash on them and say, "Oh, well, you weren't that good." Well, but you still made it. You made it, and that's amazing.
Most definitely. I know that those guys put in a lot of effort to get to the major leagues, so it's always nice when you get to meet somebody who actually made it because it's a small number.
Yeah, it's a small number, and all these guys, they're a part of a small number. Even though baseball probably puts more of them than anybody, it's still a small number in comparison to the people that played the game.
For sure. Now, do you know much about the 1990 Donruss set?
I know nothing about it because when I saw those cards, I realized I do not own a single 1990 baseball card from Donruss. I
So
have other packs, but not Donruss.
Donruss is one of my favorites. It was a very red set. All the cards came out and they were all red bordered, and people either liked the red border or they absolutely hated the red border. And I kind of liked it. I thought it was fun. The only thing I don't like is the font that they chose is kind of hard to read sometimes. But other than that, I have almost a full set of these cards. I enjoy them a lot.
It's like, I mean, here's the thing. It's like I got a lot of the football cards from Donruss, and I loved them. I thought they had the best border design. Now, they were multicolored to match the teams that the players were on, but I loved the borders for the Donruss cards in those early 90s packs for football. So Donruss is a more underrated card of the era, and I think it's an undervalued, but it's like, I think they had some of the nicer looking cards at times. But I do agree with you on this 1990. The font, I don't like the cursive.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, you can't go back in time and change it, so we'll just look at it and do our best to read some of these names. Because if there's any Z's, it's really hard to tell what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. If you get a Mark Gubazaw, it's like that Z's gonna look like a 2.
Well, we got 6 packs here. I think we can go ahead and get started with pack number 1.
Let's do it.
Now we don't have any. We don't have any puzzle. Team stickers this week. So we're gonna have puzzle cards to look at, but that's pretty much. We don't have any way for you to pick.
I'm still hoping for the Doug DeCenzo.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm still rooting for the Doug DeCenzo. I'm rooting for that card to pop off. Now we only have a short time before his career's over, so we gotta hurry.
Well, the good news about these packs is they have certainly not been opened because they are not the easiest to get open. So we at least have an idea that they're not pilfered already.
That's good. Were there any cards of any significance in the 90 Donruss packs, or no?
Not really. I mean, you've got some Bo Jackson, Kirby Puckett. There's Nolan Ryan in there. I mean, it's all kind of. There's nothing really to look for specifically, but that's to be said about most 90s baseball. I mean, occasionally you'll come across some cool cards, but for the most part, it's all just junk wax. That's what we call it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like rookie of the year that year for both of those leagues. I mean, maybe if you get, David Justice and Sandy Alomar Jr., weren't exactly. David Justice had a very good career. Actually, Sandy Alomar did, but neither one of them are considered all-time greats. But David Justice and Sandy Alomar, I liked both of those players.
Now, there is a couple cool error cards in this set. One of them specifically was John Smoltz card that had they actually put Tom Glavine's face on the front of John Smoltz's card.
Well, that's awesome.
So that would be a cool one to stumble across. And then
that would.
There's some other error cards to look for. I know that much. I'm not, I don't have them listed in front of me, but there was some interesting diamond. What do they call it? Donruss does the Diamond King inserts.
Yeah.
They had MVP inserts, so any insert will be able to notice right away because it won't be the traditional cursive font. All right.
All right, there's the puzzle.
There's the puzzle. Are we ready?
Yep.
All right, let's start this pack out. And we'll start out with Don Carmen. As I struggle to get my lighting together here. All right. So we got
that cursive. You need a big screen to be able to read some of those cursive fonts. They don't even teach cursive in school anymore.
I know.
Your kids are not going to learn cursive.
That makes them lucky, I think.
Yeah.
So we got Don Carmen to start. I don't.
Yeah, he's a kind of a Passover guy.
He was a Philly for 85 through 90. Pretty average.
Bob Tewksbury. Bob Tewksbury, I think, had a pretty good career. I don't know if he was great in 1990, but it's like Bob Tewksbury ended up having a decent career.
Well, he was a Cubby in 1988 and had a whopping 8.1 ERA.
Oh, that's amazing. Thing is, he played for a lot of different teams. I mean, he bounced. I mean, if you look, but he had a 13-year career, 110 wins. I mean, that's a good career. I mean, that's a very good career. A guy that stayed in the league for a long time. So, I mean, his best win total, he had a 17-win season for the Cardinals in '93. So, I mean, I think the Rockies are still struggling. I think that's still their second best season in their team history is Kevin Ritz and his 17 wins. But I think Osvaldo Jimenez eventually eclipsed it with 18 or 19.
Yeah, there was a year where Ubaldo had a pretty good run there.
He really did. Julio Franco. Did we get his card in the last set or in the '89 set? We know Julio Franco had a great. He was part of those great Rangers teams.
Yeah, he was an all-star this year.
Thing is, on teams with Ruben Sierra and Juan Gonzalez, and they had such good. I mean, I was surprised that Rangers team didn't win more. Because they really had some of the better hitters, and especially once they did get Pudge Rodriguez. I mean, it's hard to argue against some of those teams just being some of the and Rafi, Rafi, whether he was juiced or not. I mean, he was a great hitter at some point.
Yeah, well, in the '89 season, he had a .333 average.
I mean, that's that's right now. That's second or third in the MLB.
Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, this is an insert card here. We've got a Yastrzemski Hall of Fame Diamond King card.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, technically it's like, some of those cards you like seeing them because they're paying homage to guys that came before. But, I mean, he doesn't have any significance for the 1990 season. But, I mean, Yastrzemski was a great player in his day.
Oh, yeah.
But he was a before my time guy. I don't think I ever saw Yastrzemski play any baseball.
Interesting. All right, we got next one. This is a good pack, man. I'm excited for this one already. There's a lot of good cards we've come across. We got this Yastrzemski, and then we got us a rated rookie right away.
Yeah, but did this rookie amount to anything?
Kelly Mann for the Braves.
I don't think Kelly Mann was. And the thing is, the Braves that year were terrible. It's like the Braves in '90 were one of the worst teams. They were, I mean, only the Yankees had a worse record than the Braves that year. If you want to look at Kelly Mann's career, so this will be quick. 1 home run, 9 hits, 173 batting average, rated rookie, rated F.
He was acquired from the Cubs. That should make you feel better.
Yeah, good. I'm glad the Cubs gave up on him. It's like, give him to the Braves. Give him to the other team on TV.
Tracy Jones of the Detroit Tigers.
Not a name I recall as a strong, great player. I'm sure that there are Tiger fans that might remember him fondly. But I can look up his stat. I mean,
Well,
for his career.
He was a red for 86 through 88, and then an Expo, a Giant, and a Tiger. So he looks like he kind of got around a little bit. But he had a good batting average.
I mean, he ended up getting 1,300 at-bats in his career. Not a home run hitting guy, 27 of those, but, looks like, like I said, there'll be fans of those teams that'll sit there and go, I remember Tracy Jones. He never led the league in anything at any time.
But he had 7 RBIs in one game versus the Padres in June of '89.
How magical. Why didn't we get his card last year? So he had 7 RBIs in that one game in '89.
Yep.
Well, in 1989, he had a total of, looks like he had a total of 38 RBIs. So he got basically about a fifth of his RBIs or a sixth of his RBIs in one game.
So we got the next card is an MVP card for Von Hager.
He was an MVP.
Let's see here.
Was he just an MVP candidate?
See, this one I'm not sure because
yeah, because it's like I can't even find this guy. How does he spell his name?
maybe it's Hayes. See, this font is just really hard to read. He was a one-time All-Star in, let's see here. Doesn't say when he was an All-Star. Man. All right. Well, he was a one-time.
So what was his name?
Oh, Von Hayes. So his Hayes. Like I said, this is really hard font to read. It looks like Hager, but it's Hayes.
Thing is, Von Hayes, I don't really remember as much of a player either.
He was a tall guy, 6'5". Well, we'll let him go. Here's a future Rocky, Mr.
Glenn Allen Hill.
Yep.
A magical player. I don't think Glenn Allen Hill had the greatest career for us.
Well, I don't know that he played for us. I know he became the third base coach. So he was a September call-up guy, as we talked about. All right. Then we got Mr. Gary Ward.
Yeah, I think we might have had him also in the last one too, and I don't think we had much to say. Now his career, I don't think he ever played for the Rockies, but he was a coach.
You're talking about Glenn Allen Hill?
Yeah, it's like he's more interesting than Ward. Because at least Glenn Allen Hill, I could go, he was on our team.
Man, this is a good pack. We would call this a hot pack. We got an all-star.
It's like, oh, Dave Stewart.
Yep.
You're talking. That was one of the best pitchers at the time, Dave Stewart.
All-star Dave Stewart card. That's a nice one to put. I don't think I have this one, so that'll be a nice one to notch in there.
It's like he did not win the Cy Young that year, but
boy,
his teammate did.
His all-star game performance was not one for the record books.
Well, I mean, the thing is, though, the previous year, I think wasn't he the MVP of the '89 World Series?
Yes.
So, I mean, you're talking about a guy that he should be talked about more than what he is.
In the All-Star game, I'm only going by the 1989 All-Star game, and he had an ERA of 18. So
sweet. Gave up 2 runs in 1 inning.
Yep.
Good for him. And then he went on to have a great season, because I think Doug Drabek did win that. Don't quote me on that, but I think he won the Cy Young in '89.
And then you got Cecil's little brother. I'm just kidding. It's Mike Felder.
Yeah, Mike Felder. Actually, Mike Felder was a pretty good player too. I mean, he's not, like I said, not one of the all-time greats, but
he was a pretty solid brewer. Consistent.
I mean, you're talking about a guy that did have 2,200 at-bats in the MLB.
Yep.
Over a 10-year career. So, I mean, props to the guy. I mean, he must have done something right. I mean, he's not a big RBI guy. He was a pretty decent stolen base guy in the prime of his career. I mean, he could steal 20 to 30 bases a year. So, but he's not a big, he wasn't going to drive in runs. He only had 14 total home runs. He had 32 triples. So his speed was good.
Got Mike Sharperson. That's another name that I don't recognize. Dodgers. Didn't really play a lot of games throughout the season, so he must have been like a utility guy.
Yeah, I mean his career spans 8 years. His latter years, he actually got quite a few at bats with the Dodgers. I mean, he's putting up over 100 games on the season. So, not a big home run guy, not a big RBI guy, not a big stolen base guy. Not really sure why he was there. He was just good enough to be on an MLB roster. So,
I like this card. Greg Myers. He was a catcher for the Blue Jays. But the look on his face says he can't remember whether he turned the oven off or not.
The look on his face sits there, and he's just like, he's probably confused by something that his wife said to him before he left for the day. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder if she meant that.
He was not a guy of note, so we're gonna move to the next one. We got Gerald Clark, outfielder for the Padres.
Gerald Clark was kind of overshadowed by Will Clark, that played for the Giants at the time as well. Will Clark was a little bit more notable of a Clark in California than
these last couple guys have not been. They've been.
Yeah, but there was still some good cards in that pack.
Oh, guaranteed. But the last couple people are people who didn't really play that much throughout their career. This Willie Frazier was a pitcher for the Angels. Seems like a pretty solid guy. He's got, innings pitched. He's got a decent ERA. So, all right.
And according to this, Willie Frazier 38-40 career record, 447. He would have been a perfect Rocky. 4.5 ERA with, a losing record. This guy should have, if he just would have played longer, he could have been a Rocky. He could have been a Rocky.
And we're going to end this pack, which, once again, we had 3 inserts in this pack. We got an MVP for Eric Davis of the Reds.
Eric Davis, always a great card to pull. Eric Davis, ED. It's like, Eric Davis was one of those guys that it's like, I always wanted him to be a Rocky, but never happened.
Yeah, he was a solid player.
And he had a pretty long career, too.
He definitely liked to strike out, but he would hit some home runs. And he kind of there was a season in 86 where he had 80 steals. That's a lot.
Oh, Eric Davis is still... he's still widely considered. I don't think he's a Hall of Fame guy, but he should get more consideration. Because you're talking about a guy that hit almost 300 home runs, career batting average around 270, 350 stolen bases. He could have just gotten 18 more home runs. I think he'd have been a 300 guy, which would have been tough to keep him. It would have been tough to keep him out of the Hall.
Boy, I tell you what, I don't know if anybody watched my video on my I opened a pack for 1990 Donruss, and that one was a really good pack. This one was a really good pack. I'm kind of on fire with these 1990 Donruss cards, and it could be because I like them so much. Maybe the good karma's there, but
yeah,
just
the
fact that I have 2 hot packs out of 6, that doesn't happen. Normally I'm used to pulling maybe 1 good card out of a pack, but these have been really nice. All right, we're going to go to pack number 2 here. Definitely not pre-opened.
That's good. That Fleer pack or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It's like that was kind of disappointing that those had been rummaged through.
And we're gonna start off with Mr. Sharperson. We don't have to talk about.
Tom.
We got him again.
The daily double.
Let's see. Number 2, Mike Pagliarulo.
Mike Pagliarulo, he wasn't, but what a name, though. It's like, come on. Oh, but he was a Yankee a part of his career.
Yeah, he got traded to the Padres in '89.
Long career, though.
Yeah.
3,900 at-bats, not the greatest batting average. 134 home runs, though. So he did have some pop in his bat.
Yep.
One season, so for 2 seasons for the Yankees in 86 and 87, he did have 28 and 32 home runs. Then his power fell off the table. I don't know. Maybe he stopped juicing. I don't know. It's not for me to decide.
When it comes to 1990, you kind of figure they started juicing.
Yeah. Well, obviously he was ahead of the curve, then stopped for some reason. Not quite the Brady Anderson level of, juice, but,
I'm looking at this guy's uniform, and there's just something off about it. Like his belt is way too big. I don't get it.
Well, no, I don't get it. It's like, it's also that it's Greg Brock. Maybe that's why he didn't last. Of course I say that, but it's like he could have had a long career. He was a first baseman, so he better have had some pop in his bat, especially in that era.
Well, he was a Dodger, and then he got a Brewer, He had a average. He seems like a pretty average player.
Yeah, 248, 110 home runs, almost, about 450 to 460. 41 stolen bases. Not what you would expect from a first baseman to have any speed whatsoever.
Hmm. Then we got Kirk McCaskill.
You know, I remember Kurt McCaskill, and I think he's one of those guys that you don't really. I mean, you don't really remember him for how good he actually was. Because I remember Kurt McCaskill. Of course, I cannot spell his name because I can't see how it's spelled.
He had a solid in 89 with the Angels. He had a 2.93, 212 innings pitched, won 15 games. Pretty decent player. Had 6 complete games, which is odd nowadays. You don't see that anymore.
He was 106 and 108.
Huh.
That's a long career. I love it when it's when he played for the California Angels because they put the thing in here as CAL.
Right.
So it's not the Anaheim Angels. It was the California Angels at the time when he played for those teams, and he played for the White Sox. Best season was early in his career, 17 and 10, 3.36 ERA.
Then we got a Mike Harkey of the Cubs.
Mike Harkey is a future Rocky. Mike Harkey played for the Rockies, and I was actually excited to get him because I liked him as a Cub. And then when he came over here, I was excited that we were getting him, but he was never quite great for us. Yeah, he played 1 year for us in '94, 1-6 with a 5.79 ERA.
Sounds about right.
So he had a rough go, but we ended up, I think, he got traded to us. I don't remember the exact, but no, Mike Harkey did not do well for the Rockies, but he is a future Rocky at that point.
Then we got Bryn Smith, Expo. Definitely a solid starter. He pitched a lot of innings, had a good ERA. Somewhere right in the middle as far as wins and losses. Average, nice. Looks like a guy you would want right in the middle of your starting lineup. And then we got Bo Alred, outfielder for the Indians. Did not play much in 1989. And Randy, are you still with us? All right, we might be having a little technical difficulty here, but that's okay. We'll keep it going until Randy can get back. Looks like we are going to... There always seems to be some sort of computer problem that goes in here. Nothing ever just goes how it's always, supposed to. It looks like... The Discord is not having a good time. Alright. just what we like to see. Well, we're gonna let that. We're gonna let that play out for just a second while we continue on here. All right, so we'll kind of run through some more of this pack here. We got Bob Milacki, a decent pitcher for the Orioles. Had a pretty good year in 1989. He was a nice starter for the Orioles. We got Glenn Braggs, outfielder for the Brewers. Had a nice solid career going up to 1989. A lot of at-bats, runs, 77, hits, 121. Not a big power guy, but see, we're gonna still trying to get Randy back here. There we go. Randy, are you with us?
It looks like we're back. There we go.
Gotta love those. Gotta love those little blackout periods that you run into sometimes.
It's just a little hiccups that pop up.
Yeah, seems like it always kind of happens, doesn't it?
Yep. It's amazing with how far the technology has come that the internet is still the most unstable place in the universe to be.
It can be sometimes.
It's full of unstable people, too.
Well, let's get back into it here. I kept us going with some of this pack is not nearly as good as the pack we had before. These guys are all just kind of middle of the road players.
That's because you jinxed yourself.
Well, that's possible, for sure. We got Mark Anthony Thurmond, another Orioles pitcher. We did get Bob Milacki, who was a pretty good pitcher for the Orioles.
Yeah, Bob Milacki was. Oh, but it's like real quick on Bryn Smith. He was a Rocky for 1 year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He played in the inaugural season for the Rockies in '93, and I had forgotten about him. Makes me sad that I forgot about a Rocky off that first year's team. But yeah, Bryn Smith played for us. Wasn't great, but he was 2-4. But yeah, it's like so future Rocky Bryn Smith.
So it looks like we got a lot of Angels and a lot of Orioles in this pack. We got Kent Anderson.
Great, a lot of Angels and Orioles.
Yeah.
I mean, the Orioles are good this year. The Angels are not.
Kent Anderson was a utility player. Mostly came in on the infield. We got Ernest Riles of the Giants. Well, at least we got a different team. Got the Giants going on here.
Yeah, but it wasn't exactly one of their better players.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have a lot of power. He was just a regular old hitter.
Yeah, I mean, it's a meh player. It's like, hey, what's he thinking about this time?
We got the Craig Myers card again. We already talked about him.
Yeah, it's the daily double.
This one, he's trying to see. He's like, is that my ex-girlfriend in the stands over there?
It's like, I should go talk to her. No, maybe I shouldn't. I remember how terrible she was.
His head is not in the game. You know?
No, he's not thinking about baseball. That's a look of I'm not thinking about what I have to do today or what strategy I've worked out with the pitcher or whatever. No.
The coach is saying in that one, the quintessential get your head in the game.
Yep. Absolutely. And he's not even paying attention to the coach.
Larry Anderson, pitcher for the Astros.
I got nothing really to say about him. See, the action shots, you wonder, did at that moment, was he about to throw a pitch that got sent over the wall? Or was that going to be strike three on somebody for the final out of the game?
Well, in 1989, he had a 1.54 ERA.
Woo.
But he was obviously like a relief guy. And
so, see, he could have been getting the last strikeout of that game.
But he only had 85 strikeouts, so I'm going to guess he probably wasn't the...
probably wasn't getting a strikeout. Maybe it was a weak grounder to the second baseman.
Now, this gentleman right here, Randy, seems to be a recurring theme for us.
And who is this gentleman? Oh, is that Driscoll or whatever his name was?
Joe Orsulak.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I can't read it, but Orsulak. That's 2 times in a row. We've had 3 of his cards
in 2 weeks. This is our
second
week, and we've gotten 3 of Orsulak.
You know, I wonder if Joe Orsulak wants to come on the show.
Hey, if Joe Orsulak is out there and he wants to come on our show, we will gladly have Joe because we will be able to learn a little bit about his career as a Baltimore Oriole and a Pirate.
And I mean, just a lot of other stuff too. I mean, he was a Florida Marlin, and he played for the Montreal Expos.
And we do have one card to save the pack a little bit. We got
there you go.
The GOAT.
And it's like that helps save the pack right there when you get a Nolan Ryan.
Perfectly centered too. That's kind of neat when you see that. But
at this point, he's either remembering punching Ventura in the head, or he has future. He goes, I'm going to punch this guy in the head.
You know what? It's so funny how most people, when you talk about Nolan Ryan, a lot of people will be like, I just remember when he beat the crap out of Robin Ventura. And I mean, I know that was such a big moment, but in the same light, that was not what Nolan Ryan should be remembered for.
No, I mean, he's the strikeout king. And he has, I think, the most no-hitters in the history. He had 7 no-hitters. So, I mean, and an amazingly long career before people had amazingly long careers.
Right. I mean, in 1989, he had 301 strikeouts.
You know what's sad is you go to type in the name Nolan, and the first name that comes up for me is Nolan Jones.
Oh, yeah, the new guy.
You know, I mean, I get it. He's a Rocky, and I probably search for a lot of Rockies. But in his career, 5,714 strikeouts.
Yep. I mean...
And think about this, a career ERA for playing as long as he did of 3.19 in 27 MLB seasons.
No, that's why he's the GOAT. I mean, you don't get much better than Nolan Ryan.
I mean, it's just amazing to think that this guy's career started in 1966 at the age of 19 and went until he was 46.
Almost as long as Jamie Moyer pitched.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? I'll take Nolan Ryan's career every day, all day over Moyer's.
Of course. That goes without saying.
But it's just weird that it's like, yeah, Jamie Moyer, all those years. But yeah, Nolan Ryan, that did save the pack. What a great player.
And
I miss guys like that.
I'm slowly collecting my puzzle pieces here.
That's
It's
good. It's like
it's
eventually you'll be able to put together the puzzle of Mike Harkey.
it was that's the one part of this.
Joe,
I do not have the puzzle for this set, so I will work towards getting that. Now, starting off our new pack, we got a Mark McGuire All Star, which
amazing player.
of course, babyface Mark McGuire in this picture as well, which is, most people remember him as the gruff guy, but this could be pre-roids, you know.
And the thing is, it's like even before he took the steroid, because as a rookie, I think he had 44, 46 home runs, something like that. He was being looked at as being a power guy from the very start of his career. He was always a good hitter. It's like that's the thing that really kind of sucks. Is like I get the steroids, enhance players, make them stronger, but hitting a baseball is still one of the toughest things to do. And just because you're taking steroids doesn't mean you're gonna hit the ball. There are a lot of guys that take steroids that can never hit a baseball.
Well, that is true. I mean, you got to be able to see the ball. You got to be able to, hit the ball. Uh, Steroids themselves don't make you a Hall of Fame batter, but
No,
they certainly help when you do, when you have the ability to hit the ball.
but that is few and far between on those people.
And I think I have a kind of an idea. Let's definitely look up. We have a rated rookie here of Julio Machado. Let's look him up and see how his career panned out. Because he was a rated rookie back in 89 or 90, whenever they did the rookies here.
Julio Machado. Okay, so far on rated rookies, we are 0-2
Okay.
because he had a 7-5 record. Now here's the thing: 7-5 in his career. He played 101 games and only managed to. So obviously, this was a perennial bullpen guy.
Right.
Played 3 years in the MLB. So did something happen to this guy? Because to me, here's the thing: you're 7-5 with a 3.1 ERA, and you've played in 100 games with 151 strikeouts. So that's more than a strikeout per appearance. What happened to this guy? Where did he go?
Well,
That's kind of a mystery.
sometimes those guys are just really good in the minors, and then they get to the big leagues, and they find out quickly that they just don't have as much as what it takes to pitch to those guys.
Oh, okay. So you want to know why his career was so short?
Injury.
His MLB career was cut short when he was imprisoned on involuntary murder charges in Venezuela.
Oh, well, that'll do it every time.
Because I'm sitting there looking at this guy going, wait a minute, 7-5 record, 3.1 ERA, 151 strikeouts. That's a guy that should have had a longer career. But yeah, not when you kill somebody. It's like your career's probably going to get cut short.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna have to start a new little. I'm gonna move my pack here.
That is a very interesting thing to find out.
So he's gonna go on the wall here, and you know what? I'm gonna have to, just for fun, I'm gonna have to create myself a little set of bars. Just so if next time we run across the guy who went to prison, we can put the little bars in front of his card, because that would be fun.
It's like this is rated rookie, rated M for murder. Sorry, Julio Machado. You might have had a good MLB career if not for your stupidity.
Well, I'm gonna 3D print us in a jail bars so that we can have some jail bars for the next jailbird that we get. But it's gonna be right there on the wall. He's gonna hang out.
It's like, yeah, I think that's not actually, I'll say this, that's one of the more interesting polls. It's not a great poll, but it's an interesting poll.
Right. Oh, and we're gonna move the cup a little bit because we gotta get him in the limelight here. All right.
It's like, what your career could have been.
Next we got Vance Law, a Cub.
I remember Vance Law. He was supposed to be. I remember when they kind of called him up. It's like he was supposed to be a really good player. They were very high on him, but he never amounted to anything with the Cubs. But he had a decent career. He really did.
Oh
But I
yeah,
think by the time the Cubs got him, I think his career was pretty much on the decline. But he had some decent seasons. But I remember the Cubs were excited about getting him when they got him. But you are talking about a guy that had a career 256 average. You know, probably dipped a little bit in that final season when he batted 235, but the year before he had batted 293.
and then we're gonna kind of go through some of these other. We got a few more packs to get to here, so we'll kind of just breeze through these guys that are not big namers. We got Jeff Musselman. He was,
And they could have had great careers, but it's like if we don't really remember them all that well, because we were both kids at the time. So some of these players, they may have had great careers, and you may remember them for having great careers. But put some highlights of theirs down in the comments, and then we can read and see who was great that we just maybe didn't get to witness their greatness.
yeah, because we, especially back in 1990, you didn't have access to all the games like you do now. You kind of watched what you had available. For me, we're talking Cubs and
Braves.
a little bit of the Braves. That was about it. So everything I learned was all from the paper.
Yeah. And it's like, and the paper was, and then whatever you saw on ESPN
Yep.
and Sports Center,
So we got Don August, pitcher for the Brewers.
who I think was actually decent, but we don't really.
And we got Candy Maldonado.
Candy Maldonado. Candy Maldonado was actually a really good player for a little bit. I just remember the name Candy. His name was Candy.
And as a kid, what else are you thinking about?
What's more important than there's a guy named Candy?
All right.
But Candy Montgomery comes up first before Maldonado does.
All right. Here's a good pull. Got a little Benito Santiago.
Still one of my all-time favorite catchers.
Oh yeah, just such a solid player.
That's another guy that we've actually, I think, had 3 of his card.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Santiago.
This one's an all-star card, which we like, so I think he's gonna go up on the
Yeah,
wall behind
it's one of my favorite all-time catchers is Benito Santiago.
Oh, okay. Mike Kingery for the Mariners.
Mike Kingery, I'm not sure. It's like he might have become a Cub at some point, or was a Cub.
I remember Mike.
Or was he a Rocky?
I remember Mike Kingery.
I have to look him up.
Then we got an MVP.
Like, if he was a Rocky, he needs to have.
We got an MVP
So
card.
see, that's it. Kingery was a Cub. He was a Rocky.
Okay, so that's why I remember his name.
Yep, he was a Rocky. He did not have any power in Colorado. But I remember the name Kingery. But obviously do not remember him that fondly as a Rocky.
Okay, so I'm looking at this MVP card for Greg Swindell, and it's kind of a little fun fact here. He was the first Indians pitcher since Stan Kovaleski to win his first 6 starts.
Oh, wow.
And
Greg
then,
Swindell had a pretty good career, though, too.
And then he struck out 15 batters in one game in '87 versus the Royals. So
yeah, Greg Swindell is definitely one of those guys. Once again, history forgets these guys, but they really were very good. There were some just very good players that time forgets. And I know that 123 and 122 doesn't sound like he was very good, but he had a winning record in MLB and played 17 years. So, That to me is a very good career.
And then we got Kevin Bass, another mid-range outfielder for the Astros.
Yep.
I'm
But
ex- I'm
solid
really
player.
I'm really excited for when we get into moving forward to the early well, we'll say like the 93, 94 Astros, because man, I really liked them when they had BGO Bagwell. They had such a good lineup.
Oh, Ken Caminiti. They had some very good players. Oh, wow.
We like the checklists. Who doesn't like a
Everybody
checklist card?
loves a checklist.
Yes. And it's a Diamond Kings checklist. That's even better. Tells you which cards you haven't been able to get.
Great. Thank you, Donruss, for telling me all the cards I can't get.
All right. Then we got Mike Witt.
Mike Witt had a very long career too, I think. It's like he was a pretty good pitcher for, I think he was also a California Angel at one point.
Well, he was an Angel to start his career for at least through 85 to 89. But he had a good solid, except for 89, he led the league in earned runs, I believe.
Led the league, or was he?
Let's see. He was second on all-time Angels wins and strikeout lists. In the 84 season, he became the 13th pitcher in history to pitch a perfect game against the Rangers.
Oh, that's a tough lineup to pitch the perfect game against.
Man, this is a good pack. Another good pack. We got a Diamond King of Tommy Herr.
Mark it off the checklist.
I don't know if it was on the checklist, but second baseman, solid career. It says on the back of his card, he simply gets the job done. He is a craftsman. Switch hitting second baseman. We'll keep that card. It's not centered very well for all the card nuts out there. It's definitely needed a little help on its cut, but we'll put that guy in. I'll probably add that to my collection of Diamond Kings. This next All-Star card will make you happy. A little Ryan Sandberg.
Little Rhino. It's like that was when I early watched baseball. My favorite player was Ryan Sandberg.
Oh yeah,
that was the guy. Those early Cubs teams that I was watching with Ryan Sandberg, Andre Dawson, Mark Grace, Rick Sutcliffe, Greg Maddux. I mean, Sean Dunston. This is the year. This is the year I'm also hoping that we pull one of the greatest catchers in Cubs history. His name was Hector Villanueva.
Oh, I remember Hector.
Hector Villanueva. It's like I remember Harry Carey called him the fire hydrant because he was short and squatty and looked like a fire hydrant.
Okay.
Well. So it's like, I don't think you could say that nowadays. I don't think you could call a player the fire hydrant, but in the 90s, yes, you could.
That guy looks like a dog really wants to pee on him. That's
yeah, like, if he was just standing on a street corner somewhere, it's like a dog might go on him.
All right, we got Tim Jones, another utility guy, played for the Cardinals, my nemesis.
Yeah, your favorite team of all time.
Uh-huh. Yes, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
And then last card is Bill Bath. San Francisco Giant. He was a minor league guy, came up, had a really not good 89 season. All right, I think
Moving on past him.
I think we got time for one more pack, which is kind of cool for me because I can do some more short videos with the rest of these packs that I have.
Absolutely.
And we'll do this. And see, I'm okay with we don't have to open every single pack that I have.
No.
we can kind of
Well,
just.
it's like if this is gonna go for a while, it's like you want to savor the moments.
And hopefully people will notice that I am switching up the cards week by week. I'm not trying to stick with um, like everybody likes tops. I'm not doing tops every single week. Um,
Because remember, when
mixing
you
it
were a
up.
kid, you didn't buy exclusive. You bought what you would kind of mix it up.
Well, honestly, I just bought what I could afford,
Yeah,
which
yeah. I
wasn't
couldn't
much
always
most of the time. And
I couldn't always afford tops.
I felt like most times when I bought cards, it was, oh, let me buy a pack of cards. Oh, that pack sucked. You know, I never seemed to pick the good ones.
Yeah.
All right, we got Shane Raleigh, pitcher, or Twins pitcher. No, he was a Philly most of his career. Pretty standard guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't remember him being a guy that was talked about a lot on anything. So I mean, decent player.
I keep forgetting. I'll let you talk about the next guy, Trevor Wilson.
Why? Because he's a giant.
Yeah, yes, pitcher. I know how much you like the Giants.
Yeah, and love the Giants. They're my all-time favorites. They still screwed. They took away the World Series attempt from my Cubs in '89 at the time. So it's like I've always just loathed those people. I've never liked the Giants, even when Barry Bonds played for me. Barry Bonds is my favorite player, but it's like I still didn't root for the Giants to win.
So here I am messing with my little wall here, trying to fit in as many people as I can. And I just had to make sure I got the checklist in there because the problem is you just never have enough room for everybody.
No,
Rob Deere.
Rob Deere, him with Cecil Fielder combined. Oh, if you were a high strikeout pitcher, you couldn't wait to face those two because they were going to swing through so much stuff. But if they connect, it's going over the wall.
Well, yeah, because Rob Deere led the league in strikeouts a lot. All right, here's a rated rookie for you to look up. We got
Please.
Pat Combs.
Actually, Pat Combs, I think, had a decent career. This guy might actually be. Well, okay, so I was wrong. So I know the name from somewhere, but no. Pat Combs, 4 years in the MLB. His best year was with the Phillies at 10-10 with a 4.07 ERA. So no, Pat Combs. I may remember your name, which is probably better than a lot of people, but I misremembered you, Pat Combs. But his career was very short.
I want to point out that as I'm looking at it that Tommy Herr is on the checklist and right next to it. So we got the checklist card for the Diamond King.
That's good. It's like, see, he's on the checklist. It's like he will forever be known for having being on the checklist.
And then we got the rated rookie, Mike Fetters.
Yeah, Mike Fetters he was pretty good. Oh, as a rated rookie though. Oh, well, when you're as a rated rookie, you got to look him up.
Yep, gotta look it up.
Especially, it's funny. Most of these rated rookies, it's like we're never great. But Mike Fetters, his MLB career, 31-41, earned run average 3.86, had 518 strikeouts. He had a very long career. So, I mean, say what you want. He may not have been one of the greatest, but he played from 89 to 2004.
Wow.
So,
okay, he had a good one.
So there is a rated rookie that I will say worked out.
All right. Well, we're going to put him next to Eric Davis up there.
Because that's our first rated rookie that's actually worked out, and there's another rated rookie that was a really good murderer.
Let's see, we got Randy Velarde, which I remember him, and I didn't like him because he was a Yankee.
It's like, but he had a decent career. I remember Randy Velarde too. He was a decent player, but as a Yankee, I would have hated him.
And then we got Rich Yet.
I don't know you yet.
Pitcher for the Indians.
He could have been great.
He had a 27 ERA in 1985.
Okay, that's bad. That's
almost.
He should have been future Rocky.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, they average 3 runs an inning.
All right, then we got Tony Fernandez, shortstop for the Blue Jays.
He was a very good player for a little bit. I mean, Tony Fernandez. It's like he was. It's like, if I can pull him up, I remembered the name Tony Fernandez. I think he was a pretty good integral part of those Blue Jays teams that were. Yeah, I mean, his career, he had a very long career.
Yep.
You're talking a guy that played for 17 years in the MLB.
Yep.
Started his career with Toronto, ended it with Toronto.
Solid player, lots of at-bats. He was a accountable guy. You know, you can count on him to be there.
At one point, he led the league. He led the league in games played because he played 163. And he led the league in at-bats with 687, and that was back in 86. Hey, another Dave Stewart. All-star Dave Stewart.
Another same card, 2 packs. What do we say about that? I keep having to extend the cup out of the screen here. And then we got Rick Mahler, pitcher for the Reds. He's got a creepy stare in this card.
It's like, you know who he's looking at? He's looking at Joe Warslack going, why is he the mascot of this show? He's staring him down going, I should be the mascot of this show.
Rick Cerrone.
He had an MLB career.
He moved around a lot. Braves, Brewers, Yankees, Red Sox.
And that's in, 5 lines?
Yep.
It's like, that means it's like this is the guy that was always the other person in the trade.
Yep.
When you were, it's like, hey, we'll throw in Rick Cerrone.
That sucks. You're the extra player in the trade.
You're the extra player, the player to be named later.
All right, let's see. Tony Pena.
A very good player, Tony Pena. But it's like for one of your favorite teams, the Cardinals.
Oh man, I know Tony Pena because once again the Cubs played the Cardinals a lot, and I watched the Cubs on WGN, and I remember seeing Tony Pena a lot.
Yep.
Ooh.
On the Cardinals.
This is a good pack too. We got Steve Sachs, MVP.
Steve Sachs. He's a good nuclear plant worker. Very good. It's like, but he did get radiation poisoning, which means he couldn't play in the game.
Sure.
But yeah, Steve Sachs, good player. Dodger, didn't like him because he was a Dodger. Yep. Never a Dodgers fan.
Steve Sachs, he's going to go up on the wall for sure. And then we got Randy Kramer.
Well, that's 2 Randys that we've seen today, and they are about as well known as I am.
That is true.
It's like,
now this is another hot pack here, Randy. We've had 2 hot packs in this episode, and that's really cool because it's for being a set that I really enjoy. To get hot packs, especially 30 so many years later. But we've got an MVP card of Hojo himself.
Howard Johnson. Future Rocky. Yep. Howard Johnson.
That's right.
Great hotel chain he has, too.
Well, I don't even. Maybe the Hojos are still around. I'm not sure. They don't exist here anymore.
It's like, I'm not sure if the Howard John. I think they do, but not in the numbers they used to.
But
But I just remember
Howard Johnson was a great player.
he was. I think there was a year he led the league in home runs, or I mean, he was a very underrated player for as good as he was. I was excited when the Rockies got him, but he was at the end of his career, and I was hoping he'd maybe have a rebirth here, but not quite.
And for the last card of the episode, we are going to get another checklist card from the Diamond Kings, which obviously no introduction needed. I'll flip this guy over. Mr. Ken Griffey Jr.
I always thought the Diamond Kings cards were for players that were retired. But, I mean, that's a good choice because you're talking about one of the greatest players to ever play the game in Ken Griffey Jr. And to me, the sweetest swing of any player I've ever seen.
Just absolutely smooth.
I mean, it was such a beautiful swing, and it was so just effortless.
Effortless swing. And he was the guy that you love to hate because he wasn't on your team.
Yeah, it's like you always wanted him on your team. And it's like, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Future Rocky. No, that's Howard Johnson. God, it's like I didn't switch from Howard Johnson because I'm still looking at his stats. But I wish I could have said Future Rocky, Ken Griffey Jr. at some point.
Everybody in the league wanted Ken Griffey on their team.
Oh, it's like Ken Griffey Jr. would have been one of those players that just, even if he's on the team like when the Broncos had Jerry Rice, he never really technically played a game for the Broncos in the regular season. He played only in the preseason for us. But I would have loved to have said for a year that we had Jerry Rice on our team, but he ended up going. I think he went back to San Francisco to retire because Mike Shanahan basically, it's like Jerry Rice said, if I'm only going to be the fifth wide receiver on the team, he says, just cut me. And that's what Jerry Rice was going to be for the Broncos that year. But I wish I had bought because they had for sale his jersey, and he had a number 19 jersey, Jerry Rice. And I wish I'd have bought it way back then because to me that would have been very cool to have now.
Well, Mr. Ken Griffey Jr. is rounding out our episode, and I'm looking at this wall of cards, which I didn't even put all the guys up there that could have gone on the wall.
Well, could have gone up there.
And we got a very good stack. I'm really happy with these Donruss cards. They've been really good to me, and I've got a whole binder with the set. I'm gonna guess that I have a couple in here that I didn't know that or that I'm gonna be able to add to finish out the collection. And Julio Machado, he's going to go probably in the front now that I know he actually went to prison. That's pretty interesting for a baseball player.
It's like to sit there and just go back in time, open a card in the future from the 90s, and you're thinking to yourself, in 1990, this guy was somebody that they were looking at to be a future star of the game. And to come back in 2024 and go, oh my God, he went to jail and his career was short.
Yep. That's a story. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you could really put that one down in history, much like, all of these other guys. Nolan Ryan beat the crap out of Robin Ventura, and Julio Machado went to prison, right?
Yeah. And Julio Machado, he finished the job.
All right. Well, Randy, always good to have you on the show. Next week, we're going to go to 1991 Topps, which will be a good year. I like the 91 Topps cards. 40th anniversary, I believe. Was it 40? Yeah, it might have been 40th anniversary cards.
Wow.
For Topps. And actually, I'm looking at one right now. Yep. They were actually 40 years of baseball for Topps in 1991. anybody, if you go to our short videos, I have been hunting the crime dog. I don't know. That's a little series I've been doing. Opening Donruss Triple Play 93 packs to try and find the nickname card of Fred McGriff, Crime Dog. It is not going well so far. But should be
Yeah,
a
but
fun.
I still say, it's like you don't hunt the crime dog. It's like the crime dog does the hunting, and that's probably why you're not having success because it's like you don't hunt for the crime dog.
Well, I'm gonna keep hunting because I'm an idiot, and I have a full box of these cards, which we'll eventually open for an episode. But the reason I brought that up, Randy, is because I had a fun idea for some of these episodes going forward. We are going to, I think, for fun, in the 93 set, they had these little scratch off action baseball cards.
Yeah,
And on the inside, you actually got to like play a game of baseball by
I
scratching.
remember those.
Yeah. I never really played with them as a kid. I kind of just threw them away because I didn't really care about it.
I just scratched them all off.
Oh, well, I figured
It's not how you're supposed to play the game, but
no. I figure in one of these next episodes to round out the show, I think we'll play one of these. And
oh, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting all these years later to kind of see what happens.
yeah, to actually play it as designed and
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
yeah, you get one with every pack of these 93 Donruss Triple Play, and I've got a whole box of them, so we'll have plenty to go through.
Plenty.
And
See how many runs we could score.
and in this particular scenario, it's White Sox Royals, and so I don't even have to pick a team that I hated, which is winner for me.
Yeah, I liked both those teams back then, so I was good. Even being a Cubs fan, I didn't hate the White Sox.
Yeah, and I liked the Royals. They had Saberhagen, and it was a good time to be a Royals fan.
Yeah, they had the highest payroll in 1990, $24 million. $24 million now gets you a utility player.
If you're lucky.
It's like it'll get you a Rockies utility player.
You could buy Julio Machado for.
You could buy Julio Machado for $24 million.
You could. So, all right. Well, Randy, once again, thanks for joining me here on Packs for Breakfast. Hopefully, everybody got to see the new mug. I just had that made, and then my donut from the orchard here in. It was actually in Longmont, Colorado. Shout out to Yaya Farms. I don't know if anybody's gonna know who they are, or if they probably won't even know I'm.
They won't
them out.
even know yet that we're mentioning them.
But good apples, good donuts, apple cider donuts. And next week, like I said, we'll be doing 91 Tops, so everybody can join us for all of the fun of 91 Tops. Hopefully, we'll get some more rated rookies to look up. And, God willing, we'll find another prison inmate.
We can only hope to find another prisoner in the baseball packs.
So, Lenny Dykstra is bound to be in there somewhere.
Strawberry, Gooden.
Yeah, like I said, there's a few of them. We know that we could find them. So like I said, I'm going to 3D print a little jail cell bars to go on my wall. That way we know.
Yeah, that way we can sit there and go, this is a jailbird diamond.
All right, well, thanks everybody for watching. Look for our shorts again this week. I'll be doing some more Donruss 1990 Donruss because I have a couple packs left over, so I'll make some short videos on those. Hopefully we get some more killer hot packs like we've got today. And Randy, we will see you next week. Everybody, have a great one.